chakra placement. Let's get into it. So the first card you have, Aries, is the Lovers. And this is a major arcana. There is a little bit of Gemini energy to this Gemini archetypal energy associated with the Lover card. Also, the number 6 is coming through strong with this. Now, and then there are 3 figures over here that are, standing on this triangular surface, which kind of feel like a pyramid kind of a surface. And then the central figure is the deity, is like the revered figure. And then there is like 2 people, 2 women, 2 feminine energies on the opposite sides, so there is a red color, the woman with red clothes, and then there is a woman with the green clothes. And then there is this sun, which, because this is an Egyptian-themed card, so the sun god or the solar power influence, then there is moon, then there is a beetle as well. There is a beetle, scarab beetle. Also, there is the life for the Taurus, which is the ram, right on top. So let's break this down for you, Aries. I feel that, the person in between, I feel that is you. Because this looks like a, a revered kind of a priestly energy or a higher self, spiritually or symbolically. You can say that this is your elevated self. And the Lovers is generally associated with something like choosing something, based on your higher knowledge, based on your elevated understanding, elevated awareness. And I feel that the 2 sides, if you see, sorry about the noise. So on the left side, there is this earth tone, the woman wearing earth tones. And on the right side, there is green tones, which is, symbolic of fertility, growth, expansion. And over here, it's a little different take on the Lovers' major arcana energy, because in the traditional, it's the Cupid shooting arrows. Here, it's the sun god, the cosmos, the divine, that's taking an aim, that's taking a shot. I feel that, the Ra is more like a divine energy, and I feel here it's like a divine intervention of some sort. So I feel that the woman on the red is something that I feel is a familiar environment, something that is familiar to you, something which is probably something that you know, or, your past experiences, the knowledge that you have accumulated, the wisdom that you have accumulated, the skills that you have accumulated, that has actually allowed you to build something concrete for yourself, is the woman on the left. That's your past version. I feel that's your past version here, Aries. And the green woman here is your future version. Because green symbolizes growth. Now you're heading towards growth. And I feel that the choice that right now you have to make is between where you are, your familiar space, your everything that you know, and the green version, which is growth, which is a little uncomfortable because you have to leave your comfort zone. And you might be deciding at this point in time, where do you want to go? Do you want to continue in a life that's familiar to you, familiar environment, familiar office space, especially if you're a working person or corporate or business person, and and the life which is not familiar to you, which requires, which is the next version of you. I would say Aries 2.0. The green woman out here is the next version of you. That is Aries 2.0, and it requires a lot of moving out of your comfort zone. So which are you going to choose at this point in time? I feel that's the choice that you are facing. And by the new version, I mean that the next version of you, probably, or the next way of life, or the next phase maybe for some of you, it could be determined by the choices that you're making at this current point in time. And that could be in any field, in any domain, whether it's professional, whether it's your college, whether it's choosing between your jobs, your companies, the people, the communities. It could be any kind of a choice. And I feel that because because the Aries archetype energy is, you're ruled by Mars, and Ram is your defining symbol. So there are two characteristics that go with the Aries archetypal energy, which is the impulsiveness, and second one is the strength, the courage, the boldness. These are two characteristics that are highlights of the Aries archetype, and I feel that at this point in time, this energy is requiring the courageous side of you versus the impulsive side of you. And with this raw God that is shooting the arrow, I feel that this is maybe a offer or some kind of a choice which is external to you, that you will need to decide upon. It's not an internal choice that you're making for the most part for some of you. It could be that you're conflicted on the inside, but I feel that this is an external choice that is, heading towards you. And I feel that these two choices, neither of them are going to be bad. I feel nothing is going to be wrong. It's just that one of the choices is something that you can, or you probably will align with or be drawn to more in regards to who you are becoming or what you want to become. And for some of you, I feel that you need to take a closer look at both the choices, because on the surface of it, it may not appear what it is. So you will need to dive deeper, and also and be more methodical with your research or the decision that you make. You have to be more diligent with it. You can't be impulsive. And also the choice will take some strength and courage from you, some boldness from you. And also there is a scarab beetle. This is a very important symbol in terms of scarab is like a transformation energy. So scarab beetle is there on the card no matter what. So whichever path you're going to choose, there is going to be a certain kind of a transformation that happens, and the choice that you will need to make is from an elevated perspective here, because in the center you have this priest-like deity-like figure. So you will need to be more aware, more conscious of your choice. So it has to come from an elevated perspective. I also feel that when making the choice, you need to engage your heart and mind. Unlike the traditional lover's card, the Cupid is shooting arrow at the heart. I feel this is more like a deliberate choice. So you have to engage your passion and what you're passionate about. You also need to engage your mind in terms of seeing truly what those opportunities are all about, and also be, willing, because you will need to put in the work, and you will need to make the choice that actually you feel like putting the work into, something that makes you want to put the work in, something that makes you feel alive to the core. Don't pick the choice that seems exciting, because the excitement fades over time. Take the choice that that will make you feel really happy, that you can keep pursuing, that you can keep working at, that you can keep putting the energy at, which is most natural to you, which you can sustain. So those are the things you will need to be mindful of. Now, also the Razic life for Taurus. Taurus archetypal energy is the second house, which is related to finances, material world, which means that whatever direction you choose, it is going to have some kind of a financial consequence to it. So that's also another thing that you will need to factor in. Now, if this is not your energy, Aries, this might be the environment around you. It's like, for example, if I speak at a geopolitical level, especially in the current times, there are choices between nations, whether to, whether it's like, negotiate some kind of peaceful terms, or do we, continue to, do what we're doing, or stay in a conflicted state. These are choices that nations or cities or countries or people or companies or businesses are making at all given times. Now, at an elevated level, of course, the countries are certainly choosing between these directions. And if we look at it, these are huge choices. So it's kind of a lover's energy which is playing out at the global level. If you continue, what's going on, then there is going to be some consequences. If we, negotiate peace, then we choose a different direction. If you continue the conflict, it's a different direction. So these are the kind of choices that are playing out in our environment collectively. So you do have some homework in the next few upcoming days, Aries, where you need to be very honest with yourself. Write down the details, the pros and cons, and all of that, for each of the choices that is presented to you. Could be 2 choices, could be 3, could be more. Who knows, It's going to be different for each one of you. And ask yourself this question, like, which one aligns with me the best? Which one makes me really happy? Which one makes me feel complete and full and, in tune with it? Now, for some of you that are at a dating age or a marriageable age, you might be asking yourself this question, specifically, like society defines for us, like, oh, we need to marry at this time, we need to do this at this time. You might be asking yourself this question, like, do I want to settle down? Do I find myself a partner, or do I want to continue with my career and grow in that? So these could be 2 drastically different choices that you are contemplating on. Or it could be different cities for work. It could be different businesses. It could be different communities where you want to live, or different cities where you want to live, or the kind of lifestyle. Do you want to have like a job that you want to be settled in one city, or do you want a traveling job? Or these choices could be so different for each one of you, but there could be something like, really big that you would need to plan for or decide upon. For some of you, this could be a choice on a daily level, like which events do you want to attend? You might have so many invitations. Now, which invitation do you want to accept? Which one will you go to? Which one will you pass? Because, it could happen that you're at one event and something else which is, of importance, or something that you feel that, oh, you could have been there and you missed out on that because, somebody posts later on that, oh, this event had this, that, and the third, and then you're like, oh my God, I wished I had chosen the other event, something like that can also be playing around the mundane level. Now, for some of you, you could also be the one who is being consulted by people around you to help them make a certain choice in their life, for advice on making choices. That also could be the energy associated with this. Now, for some of you, this can also be about, like, for example, if you have a business and you want to scale it up, so there may be a choice between, do you want to still keep going solo, or do you want to partner up with someone in terms of growing your finances, or partnering up for business, or this could be about, anything related to finances, whether it's joint finances, joint partnerships, joint ventures, or single-handed ventures, or individual assessments, or investments, I would say. So for some of you, this could be a good time to kind of research whether investing together as partnerships that are aligned with each other is a better way to go, or it's better to go, on a solo investment path. So for some of you, those investment strategies or paths also could be significant. And whatever this is that you have to choose, Aries, I feel that there is a time window on this. So it's not that you just can go on forever in this situation or at a crossroads if you are at one. Because, the arrow is ready to be shot. So the arrow will be shot here by the sun god. So the choice will be me, if not by you, by the universe. So you do have, a certain time window to make this choice. The next card you have, Aries, is Animal Allies. And it is a very beautiful card out here. Very deep. It has a lot of animals in the picture. There is also a poppy flower in the middle, a white poppy flower. There is mandala, there is secret geometry, a lot of symbols here. The main animals in this picture is moth, there's tiger, there is a lamb or sheep, and there is a zebra. And then there is this poppy in the center of this, what do you call this, of the circle. Yeah, and if you see, there is like, there's a green triangle below the lamb, and there is a world, a circular world, cosmic card above the moth. So it's a very deeply symbolic card out here for you, Aries. At a, moth, if you see moths, basically stands for, transformation of, it's a transformation. Like moth is, I would say it's like, between the two worlds. You can say above there is a cosmic world, below there is a earthy world. I would say that these are allies that you available, Aries. And these are for animal power, the raw power of these animals that are available to you. Now, if you see here the moth is a transformation of some sort. It's like a soul transformation, I would say, because it's showing that it's right placed in between two worlds, and it's the soul that travels between the earth world and the other world, right? It's the soul transformation. So I feel there is some kind of a soul transformation which is available to you or which is happening right now. Also, there is a tiger. Tiger is courage. Tiger is patience. Tiger is smartness. Lamb is patience. Lamb is calmness. And then there is a zebra. Zebra is unique. And every zebra is unique, even though all the zebras have stripes. But these stripes are like fingerprints, right? It's unique to every zebra. And then they carry dualities because there's black stripes, there's white stripes. So there is a duality out here in the zebra energy. So I feel that all these raw animal powers is available to you. Now, which one are you going to choose? You know, it's like the world card in a little gentler way, in a little different way, I would say. I would say that for you, Aries, since all these energies are available, you know, as animal allies, where some of you, you could be cozy working with these allies, or they show up because, you know, there's a lot that we have to learn from the animal behavior, from the animal wisdom. Animals are used as a lot of wisdom, you know, because the way they act, interact, they behave, they show up is something that humans have been observing, have been fascinated by their reactions and, you know, the inner core wisdom, whether it's of these earthy animals or birds or the water animals, whatever that is, you know. Earlier, if you, if you have read like history of an evolution. Sorry about that noise. So basically what I was saying is that, you know, the animal kingdom is now becoming more and more important to the understanding of the psyche, the behaviors, the reactions, and all of that. You know, in the earlier times, it wasn't as important as it is today. Animals are being studied, you know, their reactions, their wisdom, how they interact, how they communicate, and all of that is being studied. And, you know, they're being trained, they understand. With that study, you were able to train, you know, a lot of animals for different, in different areas, whether it's rescue animals or whether it's, you know, in the safari or in other, you know, civil, humanitarian help and all of that. So it's because we have been able to study the behavior and patterns of the animals. So it's becoming increasingly important for some of you. That could be your area of study, or in some way you could be associated with animal shelters and all of, or the study of animals or training of them in some way, you know, some way, shape, or form. But otherwise, this could be that you're interacting closely with the, you know, the birds, animals in nature, and the message for you here, Aries, is to just observe them, because I feel these animals, the birds, are coming to you. They are being drawn towards you, and you are being encouraged to open your observation and understanding of the behavior and take away a thing or two. You know, it's like when the bird comes and it just, you know, it flies around and it does something. So maybe you are being asked to just pay attention to the pets, the animals, how they react, and maybe that will answer some of your questions, or tell you something about yourself or your situation, you know. But that's what this is. Like, animals are opening up your mind to something. You had a choice card before this. So maybe your answer lies in some kind of animal ally. Maybe that's the answers you've been needing for. But if that's not the case, this might be these four allies that are present to you. You know, you might need to tap into the energies of these, which means that you need to know when to tap into the courageous side of the Aries archetype. You need to know when to relax, when to tap into this lamb energy. You know, lamb is like more relaxing, calm, cool, collected kind of a animal archetypal energy, right? So maybe you should know, I mean, you're being asked to be wise enough to know when to be fierce like this tiger, when to relax like a lamb, when to, and also to, for the duality to coexist. I feel that it's some kind of like, you know, like the athletes, for example, or some high performing professionals, you know, they're highly technical, you know, they're highly athletic, they're appreciated by the world, you know, they have so many accolades, prizes, rewards, awards up there, in their collection because of the craft or the, you know, their specific, what do you call this, expertise. They have a lot of accolades and all of that. But at the same time, you see you know, they're very humble at the same time, you know. There's a lot of athletes, you know, that I know. They are very athletic, very competitive. They have so much going on for themselves, but at the same time, they're very humble. So the humility and the excellence, they exist at the same time. You know, the excellence has not gotten into their head. So there are people that are excellent and humble at the same time. So those are the two dualities. Similarly, tiger and the lamb are true dualities, right? So like fierce as a tiger and cool like a lamb. So you have this in you. You just need to know which energy you tap in at what time, you know, based on your situation, based on your internal situation or external situation. See which energy is appropriate at that point in time, which does not exhaust you, which does not bring your energy down. And, you know, when you know rightly, when you coexist with these energies, it's kind of, you know, a very transformational moment. We already saw that the choice, you know, the green choice, you know, the person, the figure on the right side of that white color deity on the lover's card is asking you to grow. You know, there's a crossroad, there's some kind of a choice that you have to make. And here again, it's the choice. Like, what are you going to tap into? The fierce instincts of a tiger or the cool, calm collectedness of a lamb? And again, this moth, I feel, is a transformation from Aries 1.0 to Aries 2.0. This is what this moth indicates, I feel, in your case, because you have the lover's card, who also in that had two versions of you, Aries 1.0 to the left, Aries 2.0 to the right of the person in the center. So I feel this month is leading that transformation from Aries 1.0 to Aries 2.0. And that's what you have to navigate. Now, for some of you, you could be animal conservationists or working with animal protection conservation in some way, shape, or form. And we have seen this, and that's such a beautiful thing. You know, it just occurred to me that this moth energy is a transformation of that process itself. You know, if you see, there were some animals that were reaching the extinct point, and then they have been saved, they have been conserved, preserved. A lot of activists and organizations are working towards this, you know, like I know some tigers in some places were going extinct, and now a lot of companies and NGOs and organizations stepped in and they devoted themselves to the survival of the tigers because, you know, it's important for ecological balance. So they saved a lot of tigers and they preserved them and they saved them. And now the tigers are in abundance. You know, the numbers have come up. So that is a transformation in the tiger, in the tiger world, right? From extinction to thriving. The shift of the number of tigers, that is a transformation in that world. And a lot of companies, organizations have been dedicated and devoted themselves to that. So I feel that's the moth out there playing out. For some of you, this could be like, you know, a change of career. Maybe you are in a very aggressive profession, and now you have a choice whether you want to take up a more lighter profession, which is more calm, sitting in one place. And sometimes it requires that aggressive side of you, not all the time. So some of you could be transitioning into careers and jobs that are now require a change in energies. Maybe you were this tiger in your younger years, and now it's your retirement age, so you're choosing professions which are lamb-like. Now, for some of you, this could be just you balancing out your lives. Like, you know, you got to be fierce, passive-aggressive. Like, you got to be fierce in the morning and take a rest in the evening. So for some of you, it could be a readjustment of schedules as well. That Aries doesn't always have to be a ram, like go, go, go. You can also take a step back and relax yourself. So, you know, maybe you're that version that thinks that you constantly have to be on the go and fierce in your profession and do everything that, you know, depletes your energy. And now you're like, you know what? I'm in always this aggressive tiger kind of mode, doing, and now I need to scale back and relax also, take the energy of the lamb at times so that, you know, you're well rested. And, you know, so knowing that you can be both, you can be the fierce Aries and you can be the cool, calm, collected Aries is also something that you might be transforming. Maybe you're used to being always the aggressive Aries, but now you're kind of calming down. And you realize that, you can be the calm Aries and the aggressive Aries at the same time. For some of you, it's that. Now, if this is not your energy, Aries, this could be an environment or people around you where you see that, people are transforming, people are changing becoming a different version of themselves. So for some of you, it could be that as well. Now, some of you can also be invested into some organizations that are catering to animal, food industry, the pet food industry, or veterinarian services, or some kind of sanctuaries, or some kind of standing up for the animals, like a lot of products that use animal skin, or for me, you're like into cruelty-free products or vegan products, like supporting the animals. So some of you could be into consumer industries that were linked to the animal products of some sort, and you are like, no, we're going cruelty-free, or we're going to work, or some of you could be associated with products related to the pets, like pets now have, clothing and footwear, or, treats, or different kind of treats. I've seen a lot of bakeries cater to animal, pet products. Some of you could be opening individual shops in regards to that. Some of you could be training pets. But in general, and in the center, we have this poppy. Poppy is like, used for connecting with, our senses, our psyche, our intuition, our dream space, our instincts. So if you're getting any kind of flashes or ideas or visions or dreams, if your body is speaking to you, some gut instincts and all of that, take a note of that. So that's what the puppy indicates, that be mindful of your body, what it's trying to tell you. And also pay attention to any animal allies, birds, that, you are probably observing, maybe outside your house, or if you're out in the nature, you can also pay attention to that. And the last card for today, Aries, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, you feel an undeniable urge to communicate an important message to someone, and the words flow right out of your mouth. The angels are channeling their guidance through you. You've been chosen as an angel's helper. Right, so that's such a beautiful summary of the reading for you, Aries. You had the lover's choice, to communicate or not, because once the words are out of their mouth, sometimes, they change the trajectory of our life, It's like, maybe this message is in regards to, a choice that you have to convey, to a job that you have to accept, to an offer that you have to accept at the workplace, or maybe it's, an admission, that a form that you have to submit to a university or choose a course, or maybe, it could be any kind of message, whether it's over text or whether it's a financial message, or whether it's to a company, whether to a university, whether to a person, to maybe it's the homestead you're choosing and you have to convey it to the agent. So maybe it's that kind of a choice that you have made and you need to communicate. And because they have been made with the higher consciousness and higher awareness, it's easy flowing. It's easier to communicate because now you have the whole picture, the higher picture in mind. So what you're saying is, with all of the research and all of the full awareness, that you are able to communicate your choice. It's not half-baked choice. The angels are channeling their guidance to you because this has been kind of the plan of the universe for you. We saw the lover's card, the sun god is there, the deity. The choice has been made. It's just that it's coming out of your mouth now because you have done the entire analysis. You've been chosen as an angel's helper. So the angels are wanting this for you, and they've chosen you to communicate this message. Now, maybe this choice that you are making is also impacting a community, your family, a group, an organization, but they have chosen you to communicate this choice because, you're the one that is going to communicate it with that higher perspective. You have that higher knowing. You have the capability of doing the analysis. You have the capability for communicating in the right way, whether you're a spokesperson for an organization or a spokesperson for a city or a government agency or between nations, but you are the one, the angel is working to you to communicate, because that's what the angel wished, either for you or for the company or for, at a higher level, on a geopolitical level, for the country, for the city, whatever that is. You have been the chosen one by this angel. Okay, so great messages here, Aries. Those were your messages. Hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Leo. So the first card you have, Leo, is the Five of Pentacles. And this is minor arcana. Pentacles is the earth suit, and you are the fixed fire archetype. A fifth house energy. Here you have the deck. It's a little different connotation from the regular right-away decks. Here there are 5 pentagrams, and then there is this Eye of Horus. And then there are 2 cobras, Uraeus cobras, which are divine protection. Yeah, and 5 of Pentacles, this is minor arcana. So it does indicate some kind of a challenge out here. Now, because this is the Pentacle suit, which is related to the earthy thing, so it could be related to something on earth, could be some kind of a material challenge. It could be some kind of challenge at your work or your home. This could be any kind of a struggle. But here there is divine protection because there is the Eye of Horus. This is like it is a little bit of a, kind of a challenging energy, but these challenging energies are created by planetary aspects, in order for us to work something out, to take things to the next level. So the universe will send you a challenge that you're able to get into the depth of it and figure a solution out of it. And that's the underlying current of this deck as well. Like the universe knows, that there is some kind of a challenge and it has been sent to you because there is a workaround. There is a way out of this which is going to benefit you. This is going to be the way that you will work through this is going to be for your highest good. Let me put it that way. Because there is heavy protection out here. There is this cobra protection. There is this Eye of Horus protection. So the only thing is that with this energy, especially with this deck, is for you to acknowledge what the problem is. Now, whatever that, whichever area that problem that you're facing, and you will know it, it's going to be different for each one of you. But with this energy, there is a answer within that challenge itself. You just need to look closely. You need to acknowledge the problem is there and then work towards the resolution. Now, because the Eye of Horus is there, and then there is those 3 lines which indicate, the water element, which is about compassion, the feeling behind it. So it's like you need to not only see what the challenge is, but also feel it. Because once you feel it, then you will be able to work your way out of it. So basically, your honesty is needed here. Your honest assessment is needed in that situation for you. Don't underplay that there is a problem, and also I would say don't perform it. Like, if there is a problem, then you need to acknowledge it, and you need to, look out for help and ways and resources that can help you fix it. Instead of the performance that, no, everything is okay, nothing is wrong. So right now, the Leo 5th house performative energy needs to take a backstage, and your honesty needs to take a front stage. Now, this energy also encourages you to uh, say it out, because once you're able to put a finger on the problem, or if you're able to share it with your inner circle or with your trusted alliances or allies, once you're able to name that problem, then that's the starting point for the solution. Because sometimes with the Leo archetype, there is a there is a spectrum of upside and downside to every archetypal energy. Now, because this is a little bit of a challenging aspect, I would lean into the other side of the spectrum, especially for the Leo archetype, which is the overconfidence. Sometimes that comes into play. So what this energy is trying to tell you is that, fifth house is Leo energy, which is, grandeur presentation of personality and things. That presentation is not going to be the fix for actually acknowledging the problem. Because once you're performing, you're not really creating that actual stability. So once you stop that performative presentation, you will actually be looking into how you can create the real rooted stability for yourself. You can plan better, you can create a more stabler situation for yourself. So if this is in regards to your finances, then this energy is encouraging you to take a stock of your finances. What is it that you have in savings? How much have you invested, where you can cut back. So you will need to see, open those financial books and the statements and get a closer look at it. Don't avoid or overlook any expenses cutbacks that you need to do. So that will be your protection, right? The cobras are here to protect, because once you're able to see what's depleting your finances, if there are some leaks in your financer, or if there are some leaks in the way you're spending money, then you can save up on that. And that's the protection behind this energy. Now, if this is not your energy, this could be the pulse that you're feeling around you in your environment, especially at a global level where the costs are rising, the cost of living, housing, everything. There's inflation. And then there is a pressure on the banks and the economists of the country on how to regulate the rates, the prices, so that it doesn't become a challenge to the population, So once we see that, for example, the rising cost of housing we see, especially in areas that are, smaller spaces and there's more population or growing population, demand for housing is increasing. The government is pushed to making initiatives where there are housing available at the affordable cost. So that's the solution, that there is an honest assessment that there is a housing crisis, and the government steps in to create something which is affordable or allocate something which is affordable. So that's the Five of Pentacles that plays at a global level. Similarly, if you have a business and you have some kind of a debt that you have to pay off, then taking a stock of where that debt came from and what can you do to better that debt is something that this Five of Pentacles will help you to work out. Now, this can also be that somebody else is working through their finances or some kind of a challenge, maybe in the personal life, and they're reaching out to you for help. So in that case, your Leo generosity will help become the protection or the resource for their challenge. So you can help somebody out if this is your situation. Also, there are a lot of programs that assist people that are going through any kind of a challenge. So you can look up resources, you can look up some assistance programs. That is always available. For example, there is lower rate of interest for some situation. If you feel you can negotiate with that or look up and research on that. And the thing about this is that it's like a wake-up call, nothing else. It's just like a wake-up call that, okay, where we can cut the spending, where we can reinvest, or which are for example, if it's your portfolio, like which are the stocks that you need to get rid of, which of them have become a liability, which of them are continuing to grow, where you can reshuffle and rearrange your finances and things like that. But the starting point is just the acknowledgement and, the communication that, yes, if this is your situation, then you need to communicate, look up resources, tell somebody. And there's so many other programs and interventions available today in today's world, where, things can always be, put back into place and brought on track. Now, for others of you, you could be tapping into situations where the Five of Pentacles is playing out. Now, for example, like if there is, like, for example, if you have, or if you find kind of a furniture that has been discarded, and I know that, a lot of people have the skills to, refurbish the furniture and things like that. So for some of you, you could be tapping into those opportunities or creating an opportunity out of that. Like, for example, if there is like a house which has been, a distressed property, and you see that it's a distressed property. So for some of you, you could be tapping into those opportunities, like, taking a distressed property, flipping it over, and then reselling it, and finding an opportunity to make some money with the help of your skills, of, fixer-upper skills. So for some of you, you could be tapping into those opportunities. So this might be a poll that if you have the skills that you can actually use to refurbish things, some of you might be tapping into those opportunities. Like, there is laptops that are not functional. So you take those laptops and you refurbish it and you sell it back for, some kind of a financial, trade or something like that. So for some of you, this could be an indication that there are opportunities in those sectors and those areas where you can buy distressed things or broken things and refurbish and refix it, and then make some money out of it. That's for some of you. Now, others of you, for those of you that are having a business, or maybe for those of you that are looking out for jobs, maybe you're getting jobs that are not paying you as much as your skill needs or commands, because times are uncertain, things keep moving and shifting around. So for some of you, if you have got a job where you have to take a pay hit or lesser pay than you have been making earlier, then this is another call for you that you can open a side gig on the side, tap into another talent of yours that you have, or you can learn or pick up some talent, and you can make some money on the side. So for some of you, it's that kind of a wake-up call that if your primary job is not really bringing in the amount that you were making earlier, that you had expected, or that your skill was commanding earlier, then you can always open up another side gig or take up a second gig in the few hours that you have without breaking your bone, without burning yourself out. You can always tap into a talent that you have to make a few extra bucks on their side. So this is another call for you to look into. Now, others of you, if this is some kind of a situation related to your health, where you feel that your body needs some kind of a makeover or a shift, maybe you feeling tired, or you need some kind of exercise, but you have not been diligent with that, then this is your opportunity to look into that, to fix up your routine, fix up the way you eat, what you eat healthy, work out, go for walks, join some kind of exercise or therapy. If this is your bodily energy which you feel depleted, if you're feeling a little bit low on your body or physical health, then this is a call for you to not ignore your health. Sorry about that noise. So yeah, this is your call, a wake-up call to get that checkup done, go to the doctor, go for therapy, eat the right thing, work out, exercise, sleep patterns, anything related to your health. This is your honest assessment of what exactly needs to be fixed. Now, if this is in regards to your community in some way, shape, or form, if you feel some kind of a lack or some kind of a situation that needs kind of, damage control or some kind of, um, you know, some kind of a amendment, then this is your opportunity to work things out in those areas as well. So basically, it's just, this energy is just a wake-up call, like maybe you've been busy with other things, maybe you've not had the time, or maybe you were, overlooking things. So this is just a call for you to take stock of that situation that's pressing on you, and to work things around. And today there is so many options and opportunities for us to tap into in order to fix it. The next card you have, Leo, is cultivation. And at the picture, if you take a look at the picture, there is this beautiful curated garden, topiaries, then there is the hedges, there is this beautiful stone of, what is this? The lattice, stone lattice. There's cross patterns on this, and there's a bulb right at the bottom that has not bloomed as yet. So I feel that there's a lot of potential in this, a lot of potential energy, Leos. And I feel that this is you. This bulb is you. And this cultivation is how you're working on yourself, on the things that are important to you. And one day this bulb is going to bloom. This bud is going to bloom, which means that everything that you have been putting into this bulb, like see, for any flower bulb to bloom, it takes good cultivation. So the right ingredients, the right sun, the right water, the right fertilizer, all of those things have to be right for the right kind of bloom. And every plant is going to be different, right? Every plant has a different requirement, temperature requirement, sun requirement, water requirement. Even the fertilizers these days are different for each kind of bulb or a bloom. So what is right for you will need to be cultivated by you, Leos. So that care, that, whatever is not right needs to be fixed. Whatever needs to be polished needs to be polished. You need to put in that work within yourself, whether it's in your inner work that you do, or the external work, or it's the skill, or it's the, your health, whatever that is, that's your cultivation. And then there is this green gem which is on top, which means that whatever you cultivate is this gem. You are this gem. You are the bulb, you are the gem, and whenever you cultivate, it will reveal this gem to you and to everyone else. But you need to cultivate. You know how beautifully this garden is curated, well-maintained, cultivated. You know how much effort it takes for a gardener to curate things. You know, everything which is in excess needs to be pruned. Everything which is not right needs to be righted. It needs to be taken care of. So whatever needs to be taken care of consistently needs to happen by you, for you. And that's when this gem, the diamond, the gemstone that you are becoming will be revealed to yourself and to other people. So that's when this bloom of this bulb is going to fully happen. So it will take, it's all about how you take care of yourself, how you cultivate your environment, how you cultivate your skills, how you take care of yourself, how you cut out the excesses, things that are not working, things that are not good for you. That's the cultivation that needs to happen, and you need to take stock of that. So for some of you, this could be an actual garden that you are taking care of. And for some of you, this is a skill that you need to take care of. Maybe you have a skill that you have not tended to for a long time. So now you have to put in the work one day at a time and turn it into that expertise of yours so that, you're able to utilize that skill. So for example, you are good at singing, but you just can't walk into a studio one day and, sing a bestseller. You have to practice. You have to get the notes right. You have to get the tone right. It takes a lot of practice. You have to keep your health. You have to keep your throat. You have to work on a lot of aspects of it. So that's when it produces a fine artist, a fine singer. Whether it's a musician, whether it's an artist, every single aspect needs to be fixed, needs to be worked on, takes a lot of brush strokes. If you're a painter, it takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of experimentation, takes a lot of diligence, patience, hard work, and consistency every single day for you to become the master of the craft or the art, or if you're in corporate, to bring your A game, to be the best at what you do, is what exactly this is talking about. And it doesn't happen in a day. We all know that any skill that we take to takes a long time to understand what's working, what's not working, what are, the things that can be bettered, what can be eliminated, what can be fixed. All of that has to do with assessment. We already saw with the Five of Pentacles that you are in an assessment mode, or you need to get into it. So assessing what's important, what is it that you have been overlooking, what is it that you have been undervaluing, that needs to be tended to for this. For this kind of a garden to come through, for this kind of a gemstone to shine through, the gem which is you, but just hidden beneath all the excesses, all the, I would say, the layers, that those layers need to be peeled so that the true gem is revealed. And only you know what those layers are that need to be peeled. Only you know what those skills are that need to be brushed. Only you know the gaps that need to be filled and the courses that need to be taken, the certifications that need to be completed, the health regime that needs to be completed in order to fill those gaps, to rise, to elevate, to evolve. And it needs to be done very carefully. You cannot burn yourself out. You cannot overspend. You should not be overspending. You should not be overstressing yourself out. But at the same time, you know that you need the consistency, the patience to take it slow, to take it diligently, to work on it diligently. Even the delicate crafts, it takes every single brush stroke to land rightly on the canvas, to get that kind of quality, the polish. That's what everyone pays for, the expertise, the elevated skill. And you know that once you have cultivated that skill yourself, that's when people recognize your value, because you have persevered, you have stood out, you have built something for yourself that no one else can shake, that no one else can compete with. Whether it's a business, whether it's your own skill in the office, whether it's your health, whether it's, any kind of craft that you're working on. If you want to stand up, it's going to be a slow process. You have to stick up for it. You have to be engaged with it, fully present in it. And, you have to try out different things. You have to see what works. You have to be patient with it and all of those things. And you have to constantly upgrade yourself, So that's what it's going to take out of you. Now, for some of you, this could be a profession that you're actually working on, something related to gardens, landscaping, pruning, maybe it's your new interest, it's your new hobby. Maybe you're taking to agriculture, maybe you're growing your own plants, maybe you're taking to, maybe you're in an environment that's doing that. Today, people have recognized the importance of ecological talents, of having the trees to, for greener environments, cleaner environments. So some of you might be involved into those kind of green thumb, green revolution, nurseries, plantations, gardening, pruning, cultivation, agriculture. Maybe, there's a lot of urban agricultural processes and, policies that are growing recognizing the need for green and greener environment, to combat pollution. So some of you could be into that, growing rooftop, what do you call that thing? Agriculture and wines, or you could be buying homes that have these palatial kind of gardens. Maybe that's your need, that you want to grow something. So for some of you, could be into farming, food, even I would say the specialized products like artisans and crafts and items that are, made by hand, grafted by hand, just like these gardens are pruned by hand. So some of you could be into professions that are to do with the hand, like, maybe some crafts, maybe handmade items, maybe something related to plants, and maybe flower shops, bouquets, or, specialty items. Some of you could be into specialty items as well. Maybe it's the furniture. There's a lot of beautiful, stone cross patterns out here, lattices. Some of you could be into stonework, into furniture, or pattern making, something like that, where human skill is required, hand skill is required, not the mass production. For some of you could be into the crafting business. Others of you, this could be like you are interested in some kind of a subject that you're diving into that is related to handcrafting, or maybe it's some special subject related to agriculture and implementing new technologies in agriculture. Some of you could be learning how to garden and tend to, grow your own produce. Some of you could be learning about that as well. Or maybe even cultivation of, or maybe even cooking, because like when you brew up produce, gourmet cooking, restaurants, all of those crafted items also comes under the domain of this cultivation. So some of you could be into that as well. Now, some of you can also be just interested in topiaries, standing up about it, or, into greens, maybe eating greens, wearing greens, painting your home walls, or greens in green shades, or just a sudden interest in plants and buying flowers for yourself, or a fashion which feels like more, what do you call, cruelty-free, or cruelty-free, natural styling and fashion. For some of you, it could be that as well. And some of you might be interested in moving to areas that are more greens, like, in the hills, in the mountains, or in general, places that have a lot of greens and hiking trails and all of that around you, nature, wanting to move closer to nature, or taking to nature and natural things in some way, shape, or form. But the one thing that comes to mind with this energy is that whatever you are doing here, Leos, keep it on the down low. You don't need to be you don't need to make announcements, or you don't need to do any kind of posts or write-ups about it, because this energy, is more like a bloom when things are done and kept on the down low. So that's just one observation that comes out of this. And for some of you, it might be relevant. It's up to you. But the underlying energy of this is that anything which is done on the down low, which, doesn't have a lot of eyes on it, especially the outside world, is going to flourish, is going to do you more, is going to bring in more returns, is going to benefit you more in the long term. Things that are worked on when kept on the down low. Now, for just a handful of you, I'm also picking up that this energy is also drawing my attention to the fact that some of you are already in this energy of keeping things to the down low, which means that less of external validation and less of, write-ups about yourself or your, wherever you're working on. I feel there is some kind of a calmness that I'm picking up with this energy, that you're not much into, external validation, or you don't want acknowledgements. You're not wanting to be like performative in, a little bit subtleness to the grandeur Leo energies, what I'm picking up, that you're not in that as much as maybe you were before. Maybe this is a subtle shift that you might be seeing, that you're feeling more calm and relaxed and quieter on the inside. And there is a less need to be loud about things. That could be for some of you as well. And also because you have the Five of Pentacles energy, this cultivation would also mean cultivating your finances. You know, it's like investing into the right places that will compound over time. You know, it's like the topiary, which grows over time. It doesn't grow in a day. For some of you, that's the underlying advice as well, to invest into things that could grow and compound over a period of time. Like at least with the 5 to 10 year vision is what you should be looking at with this energy playing out for you. And the last card for today, Leo, you have is a message from Cosmos. And it further says, Angelite is a heavenly gem that enhances intuition, connects you to the higher realms, and facilitates angelic communication. There you go. So there's Angelite here that could be helpful to some of you. If you believe in the power of gems, please do your own, do research before you take to any gems. But this is something which is available to you. The energy might be helpful. This Angelite is going to help you enhance your intuition, to feel things. That is really needed for your Five of Pentacles energy, to see through things, to be intuitive about things, to use your bodily signs, and, you know, even external symbols from your angels, like, you know, you'll see, like, you know, we all have some kind of an intuitive ability inside of us. We just need to tap into it. So this is your call, and you know, to tap into your intuitive nudges, whether it's coming from the external environment, whether you hear things, see some kind of things, some confirmations, some messages, some writing on the wall, or it's just your body indicating something which feels right or which feels wrong, is something you need to pay attention to. This is also talking about connection to the higher realms. So you could use gemstones, you could use any other modalities of connecting to the higher realms. Whether it's meditation, whether it's any other yoga practices, or whether it's, you know, using some altar practices or incenses that help you connect to you the higher realms. It's going to be different for each one of you, and everything will work based on your belief system. It also says it facilitates angelic communication. Yeah, so here it's like you connect with your angels, because we all are born with angelic blessings and an angel that guides us. We just need to open our eyes, third eye, to focus on those energies, those messages that are coming to us without ignoring it. So it's going to be especially important in the next few days for you. So great messages here, Leo. Those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Sagittarius. So the first card you have, Sagittarius, is the Prince of Swords, or as you can call it, the Page of Swords. So here there is this person out here which has a headdress, and there's like leopard spots on this headdress. And whenever it comes to headdress, it speaks about a lot of knowledge. It speaks about a lot of authority, of wisdom, you know, that kind of an authority energy. And it's a little different from the general other decks, because, you know, the page is considered like a learning principle, but here it's a little different tone to this deck. Now sword energy, sword suit is more about air, processes, learning, researching. It's generally the energy of TAURUS, which is Gemini. Then there is the Libra archetype. Then there is the Aquarius archetype. And then the image has a lot of brown, golden, red, orange kind of tones to it. When it comes to the orangish and reddish tone, it's all about high energy. It's a little bit of active energy, which is, actively participating, living in the moment, charging forward. There is also this stand out here which has some sacred text, hieroglyphic text on it. And there is also this sword or a blade, whatever, and it has a handle. The handle is a little bit interesting because it's made of gemstone. It's like a blue color gemstone, which is, it says over here, lapis lazuli. So, and then there is this, of course, there is this text which is written, right? It's, that hieroglyphics are more about, sacred texts. I feel that, of course, this engages your mental energy, the mind that is researching, that's looking for answers, for truths. The sword energy is sharpness, so you need that alertness. And of course, the headdress here signifies the wisdom. So coming from sacredness, higher principle, higher learning, wisdom, experiencing, the wisdom that comes through learning and experiences. Also, when it comes to sharpness, it's about being, looking beneath the surface. It's not being diluted, not like being diluted. And, things that are more sacred, more honest, more higher purpose. It's that kind of an energy which is connected to the divine. So I feel that Sagittarius, you are 9,000 energy, which is the mutable fire archetype. And Sagittarius energy is always forward-moving, forward-looking, and that's what this page is. So very aptly your energy, because Sagittarius energy has that archer, right, which is shooting an arrow. So it's a forward-moving energy, and this page is also forward-moving. So it's very aptly applied to your energy as well. There is a confidence about this. Look at the way it holds the blade, or the, it's not a sword, it's a blade. I am moving forward. It's being presented, right? It's being held in the hand. It's being presented. It's being offered. There is an offering kind of energy, an announcement kind of an energy to this. It's not, it doesn't have a negative connotation. So this sharpness displayed is not being used as a weapon. It's being offered. It's an offering. So it's this weapon, even though there is sharpness, there's a weapon in this, but it's an offering. It's not wielded in a negative way. It's not wielded as a weapon. And then because there is a text to this, so there is a two-part to this energy. It's about writing and speaking. Right with you, and both of them are powerful. When you write and when we speak, they're both powerful things. So I feel that here for you, Sagittarius, there is a higher self principle attached to this energy, which means that you're watching your words. You're watching how you're offering, how you are offering this blade, the sharpness, right? It's like maybe you're presenting something. It's that kind of a vibe where you present something which is truthful, which you know to be truthful because of the research you have done, because of your conviction, because of things that you have known, learned, and all of that. So you are the carrier of truth, and you're doing it in a very sacred way. So you're not using the words and data and text for any kind of negative energy. This is like you're doing it for a positive reason. So there is clarity, there is higher truth, there is sacredness to this. There is something that, sorry about the noise, and I also feel that, because the higher principle is activated here, it's an active energy with this. You're also mindful of the actions, your body language, the way you present, It's not meant to trigger anybody. It's not meant to bring down anybody's energy or show down. It's used for a higher purpose. It's used because you want to bring somebody's attention to this. You want to write and say something because you want to draw the positive attention to a problem or a truth or something that was not available or visible to other people, because you have brought your intelligence, you have brought your experience, you have brought your wisdom to a situation. You have some data that you've been working on, researching on, massaging the data, and now you want to present it because you feel it's going to benefit something. Maybe it's benefiting the world. Maybe it's because maybe it's benefiting your family. Maybe it's benefiting your community. Whatever this is drawing attention to a situation that will, bring in a solution, or it will elevate that situation in some way. And that's where your sharpness, the blade sharpness, is not to cut to hurt anybody, but it's because you have the sharp intellect, you have the sharp vision that gives it that particular strength, gravity, dimension, so that it attracts the positive attention. For some of you, this could be journaling, writing, documenting anything, and creating a powerful document reserve that is accessible to people, that will be helpful to people. Right, white paper is something that has come out of research that you have brought to light so that people can refer to it. They can benefit themselves, like, medical journals, medical papers, or a deep-rooted problem in the society which has not been brought into their attention, or some kind of a situation. Maybe it's a one-off thing that has happened and you want to bring it to the attention that these kind of scenarios are possible, and it has not received accurate attention from other sources, and you want to bring it to light, you want to bring it to attention. You have the perspective, you have the positive energy which is backing it up, you have the positive data which is backing it up. So it's that kind of a situation. Something which is truth, which is not just a fly-by-night thing, which is not just an attention-grabbing a title, out there. It's something which is grounded, which is powerful. It's not something that you're writing to just inflate yourself or come to the light or bring yourself the attention. It's you want all the attention on the subject. Now for you, Sagittarius, you're the archer, right? That's how your energy is, like forward-looking, shooting into the dark. That's how it's, kind of a archetypal energy. It's shown like, there's an archer that's shooting the arrows. The difference here is that once the arrow is shot, it hurts, wherever it lands. It could be hurtful, especially the arrow, I'm talking symbolically, not actually. I'm not saying that you shoot arrows that hurt, but symbolically. When we think of an arrow, when it leaves its bow and it reaches a target, it definitely hurts, it pierces through the truth. Here, there is a subtle difference. Here, the sharpness, the blade is being offered. So you present it and you let the audience receive the message in the way that they are capable of understanding, of receiving. So there is a gentle difference in the two styles of presenting the data. One is like you just dump the thing with the sharpness, and the other person feels that it has landed rudely, or it's a rude way of you shooting the arrow or saying the thing or pointing the fact. Here there is a gentleness, like you have prepared it, you prepared the facts, you're presenting it gently. Yeah, it's a sharp observation, it's a sharp perspective. Maybe people have been hesitant, or they don't have the skills to look at it in those perspectives, but there is an energy of writing it out, thinking things through. Like even if you're writing an email, you're writing all the facts, you're stating all the facts, but you're not being very rude about it. So it lands in a very gentle, informative, positive way, so that the other person is motivated to look into it, to take action on it, to gather more data on it, to gather resources in order to address it. So yes, there is like So now another thing about this is the hieroglyphics out there, which means that this, whatever you're writing it down, maybe in papers, maybe digitally, but it's something that needs to be documented and saved up for later reference. That's the energy that's coming through with this. Now, there might be some kind of a pressing need, some kind of an urgency that you have to write this up, express it. But again, you have to be very gentle. You have to be compassionate with your words, using the right words that don't hurt. That's why the headdress comes into play here. You have to use your wisdom. You have to bring in your feelings, your compassion to present the truth in a way which is not hurtful. Now, how do you know if your words are triggering people or they're becoming defensive? You know that you need to make some corrections in how you say it or how you word it. That will be your clue to this. For some of you, this could be in regards to some kind of a, wrongdoing. Maybe you want to bring that to attention. Like, it could be anything in your personal life, in your professional life. The only caveat is, don't get overreactive to things. Don't get overhyped and over-emotional. Even if things are coming to the surface, there is clarity. There could be things that but it was, overlooked or people overlooked it. The only caveat is not to be overreactive and to not use words that cause people to be overreactive. Another caveat to this is perspectives. So, if you see the picture over here, there is this person is offering this blade right in the front, right? So it's about being honest, upfront, clarity. Also, there is the other hand, which he has held down, pointing towards the earth. So there is truth, there is a general kind of a grounding earthy energy to you, this. So the underlying current of this is to be smart enough to know when to say it, when is the right time, when you should say, when you should present, and when you should take a step back. So that's the earthy grounding energy. It's like, don't just keep talking and overwhelming people with your data and your explanations, You need not only to speak what is true, what is honest, but exactly the timing of which when you say those things. When is the right time to say it? When will it make the most impact? Is the grounding the wisdom that you will need to apply in that situation? And another thing is that whatever you say, make sure it doesn't hurt or it doesn't disrupt anybody else's life. Okay. By that, what I mean is that whatever data you are presenting, it is presented because you want to bring or draw attention to a subject or matter that has been overlooked or that has been misunderstood. Don't use it to hurt or kind of disrupt anybody, disrupt a situation or cause chaos. That's the caution that you will need to observe throughout as you deploy this, the truth. So this energy or this caution is going to be specifically important to those of you that, that are journalists or write articles that are at a global level or city level or read by a lot of people, where you are presenting something, a data or a situation or a subject, but it's not disrupting the functioning of an organization or the functioning of an entity by any means. For some of you, this could be applicable at a broader scale as well. Even if it is like some kind of a activism or advocacy that you're trying to do or you're trying to bring about justice or fairness in some situation. You will have to be very mindful with how it's presented and how it does not, kind of, tarnish the image or, bring any kind of negative connotation to anyone or any entity, especially if it's related to any public presentation. Or even personal, even personally, everybody, has their own dignity, and nobody would want that hurt. So specifically, since you're coming with a higher intention of getting a situation resolved, then it should not disrupt or hurt anybody. The next card you have, Sagittarius, is the pillar energy. Now, pillar, as we all know, they are verticals. They hold a lot of weight above them. They're strong, constructed to be stable, to be there. And it's the same energy over here. It's this pillar that has formed. There is sphere. There's cosmic mandalas. Very cosmic pillar. In the mountains, the bag that has mountains, there is also an energy of, holding space for other people. And at the same time, you see this pillar is very much connected to this cosmic mandala. It reminds me of connection to the divine, the universe, the cosmos. So the Sagittarius that I'm speaking to is, the one that already has, or somebody who is in that energy of working towards, having both feet on the ground. But look at the hands. Look at this. Pillar is reaching towards the divine, towards the cosmic mandala. So definitely there is that energy of being reliable, being there, showing up for yourself, for other people, for your community, for your office, whatever that is for you, to be consistent with your actions. To be the one people can lean on, fall back on, people can count on you. So it's a huge, like a support system that you have. Maybe you have a company, some kind of a support group and network that you're creating that people can rely on. Some way for you to either give back to the community. Maybe you're in a generous energy of giving back, volunteering, supporting people in any way, shape, or form. I also feel that there's a lot of wisdom energy, like you've been there, you understand the ground reality, you're very rooted in the reality, you're very realistic. And whatever ideas you have, whether it's a purpose for the community, for yourself, for your family, whatever this is, the steps that you take to make things happen, to manifest, to implement the right kind of actions are very rooted in reality. They're very grounded. They're very ancient. They're very, they're very timeless. They're very, I would say they're very firm, It's like if you see at the base of this pillar, there is formations, like coral reefs, that kind of crystal formations at the base of this pillar. It's crystal. It's like reefs. You can't really, reefs are timeless. They grow over time. They're solid structures. So there is some kind of creating a foundation which is solid, which is crystal. Now, it could be foundation of your projects if you're working on to have a solid foundation so that you can add more features to it, add more structure to it, or whether it's a medical foundation, an organization that's a strong foundation for the society, for the community. It could be for your house. It could be creating healthy foundations, whether it's your health solid structures. Maybe you're into construction. Maybe it's financial structures. Maybe you're into financial business or some kind of a business. But yeah, it works on the solidity of the structures, whether it's roads or infrastructure that you're working on. There is also this energy of being comfortable as you are. I feel that whatever you are doing, even if it's at the small scale, or even if it's just an individual effort, you're very comfortable. Even if the contribution is small or big, whatever the size of the contribution from your side or you as a part of a group, you're very comfortable. You're like, I don't need to make those gigantic news splashes for my contribution to matter. So it's like you're doing it as much and as good and as well as you can, and being comfortable with whatever you're able to offer. Whether it's big, it doesn't have to be big, magnanimous, gigantic for it to matter. For you, it's like every small contribution, it matters to me, and I will offer as much as I can. So it's that kind of an energy that you're not just looking at big offerings. You're comfortable with whatever the scale of your offering is, which is great. Anything big or small has value, adds value, and that's what matters to the people that I'm speaking to today. Now, another important aspect of this energy is about, you being able to somehow connect to this huge cosmos, the cosmic mandala. Now, that could be in any way, shape, or form, whether it's related to space, universal knowledge, ancient wisdom, timeless wisdom, whatever that is for you. Something which is on the higher plane, whether it's a knowledge about sky, space, spacecrafts, anything to do with the cosmos, energy, the higher planes is what I'm getting. Any knowledge related to the higher planes, you're able to tap into that, and you're able to convey it to the audience, the people, on this earthy plane. So you're able to somehow tap into the higher plane knowledge. It could be any domain, and you're able to bring it down onto this earthy plane. So whether it's knowledge about nature, space, cosmos, energy, divine, anything, spirituality, you might be tapping into those energies, data, and you might be bringing it down and expressing it into a form which is understandable by the humans, in the basic ways that is understandable by the humans. So for some of you, that could be applicable as well. Now, another underlying energy to this is of, vertical. So, pillars are like long columns, right, that have strong roots. So there is an energy of growing upwards, of growth. You see how elevated this pillar in the picture is. So there is a growth upwards, but then there is also a solidification of, being in one place for some time, which means that, the Sagittarian mutable energy will kind of cause your energy to be scattered across several places, several projects, several domains, several invitations, or whatever that is for you. But here, the energy of the pillar is to be focused on one subject, one domain for a longer time, so that things crystallize, that things form, they're solid, they're structured, versus hopping from one thing to another. So solid foundations are created and crystals especially are created when there is stillness, in one place, in one project. There's devotion, there's focus for an extended period of time for it to grow and crystallize, for it to become solid. So Um, don't hop between things until things become solid and crystallized. And also, I'm getting an energy of, this pillar, like, if you see at the bottom, there is crystal, but there is also a little bit of mist which is shown. I don't know if you can see it exactly through this image, but there is mist. When it comes to the mist, it speaks to uncertainties. It speaks to, things that are unknown. And that's the energy that we wake up to every single day when we're up. Nothing is certain. Change is the only constant. So for us to be able to navigate through those uncertain times and how things are going to play out, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of grounded energy. And I feel that's what is being encouraged for you to bring or to be in that energy. It's like those priests and the saints that were born, like they also navigated uncertainties, but they still stood strong in those moments and still holding space for other people so that they find their own stability and structure. It's that kind of an energy. So to be around, to be that inspiration, to be that pillar where other people are drawing inspiration from and finding their own bearings, in terms of uncertain times, while they're figuring out their path in life or overcoming and navigating their own problems and challenges. So for you to hold that space for them while they're navigating their own uncertain times, or even for you. Now, for some of you, you could actually be in the construction or you're creating systems that you have been working for long, and now they are coming to a completion where you can see the pillar being erected. You can see the structure that has been created, whether it's infrastructure or it's any kind of a project that you have been working, and now it has become stable or grounded or it's out there, and it's ready to be used or to be circulated or to be announced. Some kind of a strong, heavy system, whether it's like buildings or whether it's commercial spaces or whether it's under the ground systems that have been erected, like plumbing systems, or you cannot erect that in a day, water systems and all of the networking systems, and towers for communication towers, or whether it's aviation systems, whatever that is. For some of you, you could be working on that for a long time, which is now starting to show. Like a pillar starts to show, it's held strongly up, erect, only when the underground system has been done. You can see the pillar erect only when the underground foundation has been solidly laid. That's when the pillar stands up. Same for this volcanic activity. When the volcano starts erupting, it kind of spills the lava. And then once that's done, that's when this mountain kind of comes visible. When the lava is coming out through the earth, you cannot really see the structure that it will form. You can only see it when the lava cools down, the structure is solidified. After that activity is going to be, for some of you, you could be in those places where you're seeing actually lava create these pillars or mountains. But otherwise, it's the work that has been done, cooled off, solidified, that you can now see, that's now visible. So for some of you, it's the long-term projects that you have laid foundations for are now becoming visible. So on the mundane level, this is like, having a routine, a structure where you're consistent, you're putting in the effort so that you can see things build up, add over time, whether it's your own financial structures, portfolios, or you're into some craft that you're learning, putting in the energy every single day, and now you can see those final creations take shape. For some of you, it's like writing books and journals that you have been working on for some time, or it's your own help and practices, meditation, any kind of practice that is now starting to show the results, because it doesn't happen in a day. So you've kind of built that structure, that endurance, and now you can see, for example, if you're a strength training, you can see a strength increase, and it doesn't happen in a day. It happens over a few months, a few years, whether it's your health, healthy eating, or any kind of culinary art you're interested in, or you're making a movie, a show, whatever that is, a solid foundation. You have been pulling in the right resources, the right contacts, the right budgets, and now you can see it come to fruition. For some of you, the pillar can actually be the strong systems that you have created in place, like the processes, the values that you stand by, the materials that you use, those kind of solid structures like which the market cannot disrupt, like maybe you're like growing your own produce, so you don't care, like if the vegetable prices have gone up, it won't disrupt you. You've got your cultivation going in the backyard, and you're kind of able to tap into that. Or for example, if you're a jewelry designer, you design your own jewelry and you can get the raw materials for a lesser price, and you can create jewelry for your family. So if the prices of jewelry is going up, you don't care because you're making your own pieces, some kind of an energy, something like that. So creating structures, processes that is undisrupted by the market fluctuation. And so some of you could be putting those structures into place as well. And for some of you, this is also encouraging you to practice a little bit of stillness, where you can take periodic breaks, pace yourself out, take the right rest that you need so that you don't burn out, and have that practice in place so that you're constantly not in a doing mode. You're also enjoying what you're creating. You have the time to savor the smaller, beautiful things in life. Enjoy the smaller things, the fun. Have the fun to not constantly be on a fast pace. For some of you, this could be like practicing the stillness that the pillar has, like to stay in place for a bit, during your day. Make the time for yourself for things that matter, the smaller things that give you joy, meditation practices, going out there, smelling the roses, taking a walk outside, connecting with nature, so that you're able to sustain that kind of routine for a long time. The pillar needs to sustain the load for a long time. So in today's day and age, when we have a lot going for us, we need to build structures and routines in a way that go a long distance. So for some of you, it's encouraging you to build those kind of routines. And the last card for today's Sagittarius you have is a message from Cosmos. And it says, angels often manifest as nature spirits, sometimes joining forces with trees to bring healing energy to earth. Sitting party with the tree will help you feel grounded and renewed by its ancient wisdom. And that's exactly what this entire reading has been about. To spend time, in your secret space, or in your sanctuary at home, or in nature outside. Connect with nature, the birds, the earth in grounding energy, to make some time to relax, to breathe, practice breath techniques, breathing fresh air, taking deeper breaths, and quieting your mind, and just, grounding your energy so that, allowing your body to replenish, to renew itself. Because that's what the ancient wisdom is all about, pacing yourself out, to not rush through things, to take it easy, to focus self-love, to pay attention to your body and everything else, balancing all the facets of your life, your mind, body, heart, and soul, is the ancient wisdom. And that's what I feel is your energy. The pillar energy is like connecting with the divine, with the cosmos, with the ancient wisdom, to practice stillness. And also the page of swords energy is to again stay grounded, rooted, and to use the ancient wisdom, the timeless wisdom in your communication and in your day-to-day activities. So yeah, great energy here, Sagittarius. Those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.